hepatocellular carcinoma. This is among the highest priority that we should seek for the treatment. Advanced fibrosis at the baseline, the patient post-transplantation that you're going to heard about this. The patient with extrahepatic complications and the high priorities should be set for the patient with significant fibrosis and co-infection with other viruses. Currently, we still have interferon. Is there any role of interferon? And sorry for the slide not so clear at the back. You know, in Myanmar, you have sofosbuvir, redisivir, daclazivir, and PEG and RIBA. So all these things that now are available here. So how about the treatment? This is a treatment with PEG RIBA for genotype 3. So you say that the chance of getting SVR is pretty high, about 80 to somewhat 90%. But some of the studies were genotype 2 predominant. So if PEG and RIBA is not expensive enough and the patient is eligible, this can be treated for genotype 2 and 3. Or for those who have failed previous treatment with DAA, you know those who failed the DAA, there might be RAF resistant. That's going to be still eligible for PEG and RIBA. But now we are having these drugs available in your country. Sofosbuvir, an S5B inhibitor, and an S5A inhibitor. Currently, you have the discasvir and the daclazivir. I'm not going to touch on the velpatasvir or evalsvir. I think Raj already going to touch upon that afterwards. So the requirement for HCV therapy currently is we would like to achieve SVR more than 90%. Less toxicity and more tolerable to the patient, as short as possible, high barrier to resistance, and you know, if you don't have to remember so many regimens, if you can have pan-genotypic coverage of the treatment, less drug interaction and low pill burden. How about genotype 1? This is, you know, that contributes about 10% in Myanmar, but still significant. So PEG and RIBA still achieve at least for the goal of 90%. This is going to be the goal, but the performance of PEG and RIBA sofosbuvir drops a little bit in cirrhosis. For the oral DAA, this is the sofosbuvir, redisivir co-formulation plus or minus ribavirin. You see that all conditions, no matter cirrhosis or no cirrhosis, no matter previous treatment experience, you can achieve more than 90% with 12 weeks of redisivir sofosbuvir co-formulation with or without RIBA. So in the patient with low viral load, less than 6 million, maybe 8 weeks is adequate. But I don't think in order to make things more simple, 12 weeks of sofosbuvir, redisivir, that's going to be enough for the patient with genotype 1. And this can be true in a patient with cirrhosis. So you see that even in a patient with cirrhosis, adding RIBA or no RIBA is going to be about the same. And just 12 weeks or 24 weeks is going to be the same. So 12 weeks is going to be enough. However, for those who have some poor predictor or those who have failed previous treatment, maybe extending the treatment to 24 weeks is going to be adequate with or without RIBA. How about two drugs combination? So collaboration between sofosbuvir and daclazivir from another company. Again, for genotype 1, naive or previous treatment failure with the PI, the response rate is quite high, so from 95 to 100%, but the number of the treatment is pretty low, but still, the response rate is very high. How about genotype 2 and 3, especially for genotype 3, which is very common here. This is the comparison genotype 2 and 3. 12 weeks for genotype 2 and 24 weeks for genotype 3, SORB and RIBA. So for genotype 2, SORB RIBA for 12 weeks offer 97 to 100% for naive, non-cirrhotic or cirrhotic. But the treatment response drops a little bit in previous treatment experience for those who have failed the previous treatment. In genotype 3, SORB and RIBA offer just about 90, from 87 to 90% in non-cirrhotic, but in cirrhotic, especially for experienced cirrhotic, the treatment response drops just to about 2/3. How about for genotype 2? So, I think genotype 2 is here, is the same as in Thailand, less than 1%. So genotype 2 for those who have cirrhosis, maybe you want to extend to 4 to 5 months, SORB and RIBA. How about SORB, PEG, RIBA? This is the comparison genotype 2 and genotype 3. You say that genotype 2 is not a problem because even SORB and RIBA can do pretty well, so you don't have to add PEG for genotype 2. But for genotype 3, this is a problem. Even SORB, PEG, and RIBA, the treatment response is higher as compared with PEG, as compared with SORB and RIBA, but still just 83%. If you set our goal at 90%, this is below our goal. This is a famous presentation by Professor Graham Foster last EASL-Boson study looking at SORB, PEG, and RIBA for 12 weeks. There was such a high number of patients, higher than the pivotal study, so he can achieve almost 90% in most of the patients, including the patient with baseline cirrhosis. How about lesinpasvir sofosbuvir co-formulation? This is the NS5A sofosbuvir and NS5A lesinpasvir co-formulation plus RIBA. So for genotype 3, especially for cirrhosis, the treatment is pretty low, for 73%, lower than PEG, RIBA, and sofosbuvir for 12 weeks. So it's not acceptable for the treatment because, once the patient has exposed to NS5A and failed NS5A, that's going to be the problem with draft. And this is the study SORB plus daclazazvir without RIBA for the patient with genotype 3. Again, it's good for non-cirrhotic, but things doesn't well for cirrhotic because the response rate is just 60 to less than 70% for cirrhosis. So, but that's why the last presentation of the AASLD a couple of months ago, they had another study, ALLY 3+, daclazazvir, sofosbuvir, RIBA in the patient with genotype 3 advanced fibrosis, but to compare 12 weeks and 16 weeks. Again, SORB, daclazazvir, RIBA may offer treatment response for F3 fibrosis 100%, but in the patient with cirrhosis, especially for the treatment experience, the response is going to be about 86 to 89%, but a little bit less than 90%, but it's still much higher as compared with sofosbuvir and lesinpasvir plus RIBA. Lastly, for genotype 6. Genotype 6 is very common in Indochina, from Myanmar to Thailand, and especially in Vietnam. But there are very few studies looking at genotype 6. The the original study, neutrino study, has looked at just a few patients of G06, and the response rate for peg-rimer-sulfonylurea was 100%. And there were about 25 patients using SORB and rituximab for G06, and the response rate was 96%. So that comes to the guideline from the SLD guideline and the EASL guideline. I will summarize after my presentation. One more thing that I think we should consider for the treatment with all oral regimen is the drug-drug interactions. And since all of you have been using smartphone, I would recommend you to download the free application Health iCharge for Android and iOS. This could be very simple. You go with the drug that you would like to look for, and then the drug interaction will show, and then you can have some idea whether you should reduce the dose of the drugs that you are using together with the antiviral agent. The challenge still remains. This could be the topic that you will be here in the next presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude and wrap up for the treatment of chronic hepatitis C in our region in 2016. So the treatment is indicated for all infected patients if they can afford the treatment. But if they cannot afford, the treatment should be prioritized. The choice of the treatment depends upon genotypes of the virus, severity of liver disease, especially cirrhosis or no cirrhosis. Advanced cirrhosis is fine, but cirrhosis may compromise the treatment response. Previous treatment experience, that is good for us because we don't have the PI in this particular region, so not so many patients has exposed to PI. Availability of a drug in your country. And then this is a recommendation that I try to summarize from the whole treatment guideline. So in the patient with genotype 1 or 6 without cirrhosis, you have three choices: SORB, PEG, and RIBA. SORB, lenacapavir co-formulation, or SORB, daclazivir together for 12 weeks. It's maybe 8 weeks if you got the virus less than 6 million. And this could be the same for genotype 1 and 6. But for those with cirrhosis, again, the same regimen, but it depends on whether you would like to add a driver to save the cost or extend the treatment with SORB, lenacapavir co-formulation, or SORB, daclazivir combination. So with RIBA, you can truncate the treatment for 12 weeks without RIBA for 24 weeks. Now for GNO3, I skipped GNO2 because GNO2 is very rare in our region. GNO3, you can have SORB, PEG, and RIBA. So SORB, PEG, and RIBA, and SORB, daclazivir can be pan-genotypic treatment in our region. So 12 weeks for SORB, PEG, and RIBA, or SORB, daclazivir for 12 weeks for GNO3 without cirrhosis. But for those with cirrhosis, you better extend the treatment to at least 16 to 24 weeks. And with that, I would like to thank for your attention. Thank you.
For the B virus. Possibly the good goal today is to improve the elimination of HBs antigen. You agree with that? The other goal would be to obtain the elimination of cccDNA. But what is your feeling about this possible absolute cure? It is realistic to obtain drug eliminating cccDNA, and what should be the test to have such response?
I think that's a very good question. As we know that the CCNA is a really main factor of a persistent infection. And I think now we know from either natural infections or the treatment that although the patient who had seroconversion, seroconversion, when you do liver biopsy, you still have interhepatic DNA and cccDNA. So currently with available therapy, I think it's very difficult to clear this. So we try to do self-engine seroconversion, and my meaning I will say that functional cure. It's not absolutely cure, but under that normal circumstance, don't be able to achieve seroconversion, you look for a clinical trial. You can see that they associate with a good survival, really low incidence of SCC. However, it depends on when you have seroconversion. If you have seroconversion after age of 50, you still remain the risk of SCC. So put all together, I will say that functional cure is good enough in normal circumstances if the patient not receiving any strong immunosuppression such as the anti-CD20. How can we get this the cccDNA? So far, I think it's still very difficult, and maybe like chasing a ghost. We might need the equipment that we can grab or quote. Look on the new agent. I think they have new agent trying to target that cccDNA. They study among chimpanzee and now put on the 20 patients. They could see that they can reduce the cccDNA and estrogen within 12 weeks. That will be the future. But so far, right now, if we have current available therapy, I think cure all cccDNA is still quite very impossible. So we aim at functional cure, that means seroconversion.
The problem, even for the future, is to test the absence of cccDNA. And to test, we will need a liver biopsy.
That